So there are times in a young woman's life where she needs just to find a really hilariously good book. A few weeks ago I found myself in a very sad state and I needed a good book to kind of comfort me, and so I picked Bossypants by Tina Fey. And before you get started, I needed it like right then, and so I couldn't just go to the store or anything like that. Plus it was like 9 o'clock at night, so I got on my Nook and bought this copy, and I do not regret a thing. Basically, it was between Bossypants and Is Everyone Hanging Out With Me by Mindy Kaling, but Bossypants definitely won out for me at that moment. What is this book about? Well, it is about Tina and how she grew up and how she became the person she is. There aren't just kind of random stories. It's very like all one kind of, I guess, chain of events that just led to where she is now. If you've been following me for long, you know I've read one of Chelsea Handler's books, and that's basically just a collection of stories, but this is kind of like collection of stories that is, like I said, one chain of events that just keeps going. It's a moving train. So she talks about things like childhood, growing up, getting her period, working at the YMCA, having college boyfriends, being involved in Second City, meeting Amy Poehler, you know, all these things, getting involved with Saturday Night Live, and how she started making tripping over my own words. She even talks about how 30 Rock came to be, which is pretty interesting because I have really liked that show since the beginning. I don't watch every episode, but I am a fan. She also talks about how she was chosen to impersonate Sarah Palin for Saturday Night Live, even though she had left the show for about like a year or so. And she talks about her adorable daughter Alice, which I know you want to hear about. What did you think about the book? I loved this book. My friend Jeff from Novel Thoughts told me about this book several months ago. Well, I knew about it when it came out, but he was definitely the one to be like, you should read or listen to the audiobook, but I was like, man, I'm gonna have to like actually read it. And you could definitely like hear it from her voice, and that's something that I really enjoyed, that it was her voice, but it was very well done, where it wasn't like really sloppily. It was just like, this is her voice, you're in her head. Sometimes when you hear something in like the author's voice, it tends to come off a little bit, what's the word? It's like, not as professional as it should be. But Bossypants was definitely an exception of that rule. If you haven't read anything yet this year, I would say to read Bossypants. It's a very quick-paced read. If you like hearing about people's lives and how interesting they are, it's really good. It's not like some crazy story. It's like, you know, just her life. That's it. And how awesome she is and what she thinks about certain things. But it all just, like I said, keeps on one track. It doesn't get all like crazy out there, political or anything like that. It's just like, hey, here's my life. It's funny. I actually liked that it wasn't that she had some deep, crazy past. It was just like, hey, I'm a normal girl with a normal life, and I just so happen to be the, you know, producer, executive producer, writer, all this stuff for 30 Rock, and it's just, she's humble. She's really cool and humble, and I found that to be a really awesome trait of Tina Fey. Who would you recommend this to? Basically anybody who loves Tina Fey. If you like any of her, you know, anything that she's ever written, whether it be TV shows or movies that she's written like Mean Girls or 30 Rock or Saturday Night Live, if you've liked those, you should read this. Even if you didn't like those, you should read this. So yes, I hope that you go and pick up Tina Fey's Bossypants, whether it be in hardback or paperback, which came out just soon. It's like yellow and it looks really cool and eye-popping. I like the cover. I know some people are like, that's so creepy, but it's got like her head on a man's body, but it makes sense when you read the book, and it's not as creepy as it would seem. But yes, it's awesome. Awesome book.